Get a ribbit biggity binkity doggity diggity doo. How are you, Patrick? How are you?
I am doing good, Britt. Thank you so much for asking. How are you today?
I'm swell. Well, what the hell? You know, I'm just hanging in, banging in, clanging in, D-dog danging smacking it. I'm smacking it and cracking it. You know how I do. Smacking that boner. Smacking that boner. Smacking that boner. Tell it who's boss. You know, I'm boss. It's me. I'm boss.
I'm boss.
I'm the boss. Look at me. I'm the boss now. Yeah. Welcome to the bridge. My name's Comrade Britt.
And I am Pat.
You're listening to Soy Trek. If you like this program, please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you get podcasts. And you know what? Maybe you could go to our Patreon at patreon.com/dumbidiotbs. For as little as free, but also as little as $2 a month, you can support us and our other shows, including Prison Breakdown, Dumb Idiot BS, The Media Dungeon, My Wife, and Getting Head, a Bucket Cast. You also get brand new episodes, like the moment they come out. You get to vote on what we watch every week. You get to, I don't know, a whole bunch of cool shit. For $10, you can subscribe to my media server and get over 19,000 films, over 1,700 shows, just a shit ton of media, like more than any of those fucking streaming services combined, more than any of that shit. I got the goddamn collection, and because of it, I got the goddamn erection. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying?
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying.
You know what I am saying?
Once again, that's patreon.com/dumbidiotbs. Yeah.
Go there or be square.
Yeah, be square. You wouldn't like being square, would you? Like put into a box? That'd actually be cubic. Yeah, and being square, you'd actually go back into the second dimension, which would be so frightening. Like everything.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be one of those Japanese watermelons.
No, definitely not. It would suck to be a Japanese watermelon. If I learned anything on that podcast today, that's what I learned. That's what you're saying to yourself right now, listener.
I don't know why they just don't put like babies in those, like test tube babies.
Ooh.
And, like we just put them in a cube, and then like they just grow to the size of the cube, and then like they're born.
Yeah,
and
incubate a watermelon. Right. Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah, we could have different shaped babies. You know, baby shape is so overrated. I want a cubic baby. Like,
especially that's when their bones especially their skulls are so soft. So you could possibly encase and they're not really breathing through their head, through their mouth or their nose when they're in the womb.
Sure.
And they're breathing through the umbilical cord. So you could encase their head in a square.
Right.
And have that. So then you could have a blockhead baby.
Like Charlie Brown. He's a blockhead.
Yeah, like Charlie Brown. Yeah.
Although he has a he has a very, very round head. He's not a blockhead at all.
He does. Yeah, I think he's a blockhead just because he's dense or stupid.
Right.
And
he is a stupid motherfucker. Like,
he is a dumb ass.
Lucy be right about that. Like, yeah, he's so fucking dumb.
I mean, he keeps falling for the football trick.
The same trick over and over.
He's not all there. So.
No, he's.
So I think like.
Do you think he's like Forrest Gump?
His parents are is Forrest Gump.
Like, do you think he's like Forrest Gump status? Like a little slow. Do you think Lucy is like?
So that would make the actions of Lucy and the Peanuts comic very sinister and mean.
100%. Yeah.
Because the people who teased Forrest Gump weren't heroes.
It'd be like going to the Special Olympics and heckling them.
Yeah, that would be very uncouth. That would be very cruel. And I
don't know if you heard, but there's new news. There was a online gambling place it's the first place to allow gambling on the Special Olympics.
Why would you? That's so weird. It's like, it's not like, it's like,
Because people bet on anything now, but that's just like weird and sinister and fucked up. Like,
and yeah, it's like, I can understand like with all other sports, because like typically like people who compete in the Special Olympics, they're not like, you know, competing enough where their progress can be really traceable, where it's just like, you know, you can make an informed decision on sports betting. You know, it's just like, you know, you can you know, oh well, like this running back is doing really good, like, so I can make an educated, you know, gamble on betting on his team. But it's just like something that's done for charity reasons, and just like more like, you know, just giving like a venue for people to compete who are typically not like professional athletes.
I mean, some of them are very good athletes, though. You know, some of them
are. Yeah.
I mean, all of them would kick my ass in whatever fucking sport I like tried to compete. Because if you're competing on that high a level, even in the Special Olympics, like, you're good at that sport, you know. And I'm not good at any sport.
But I'm just saying, like, I don't feel like those athletes are really like observed enough to make informed decisions on their performances and then any sort of like gambling type situation, you know. Right. It's like it's kind of the same thing with just like, you know, just the Olympics as well. It's just like a lot of those are just like, they're not professional sports people. You know, it's just
right. But it's I mean, it's an incredibly uncool act, regardless.
Very uncool act.
This is like, I mean, online gambling is already out of control and really fucked up and predatory in nature. And this is like really just like predatory on like the most vulnerable in our society. I'm imagining like there's going to be people like fucking standing outside these like poor kids' hotel rooms and being like, hey, you can't win today, kid. Like...
Yeah, we'll get to the point where like, yeah, they're taking matter into their own hands and hiring people to like hit their kneecaps or something, or you know, just like or like bribing them to take a knee or something, you know. And it's like you're gonna fall in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I'll give you
get up,
and in exchange you'll get cotton candy, a lot of it.
Yeah, it seems like it's just like, I mean, our gambling in this country is out of control. We need to put some people in, you know, maybe curb some of that. Maybe just give people
online gambling
living wage.
Yeah, online gambling should not be legal. Like, I'm for freedom and everything, and I've got my own feelings about like gambling in general. I kind of don't think it should be allowed. It's like a being poor tax. It's like you should be able to like gamble, I don't know, for low level things. Like you should be able to like trade in, I don't know, but people will always skirt it. But like, you know, I think like things like Chuck E. Cheese should be allowed, even though that's like technically gambling for children. Like
child gambling.
Yeah, it's a child gambling with giant rat. It's or like Dave and Buster's.
Yeah,
you know, whatever. That
gamble with fake money.
Yeah, right.
We want Star Trek level gambling where they're not really like, they're just doing it for fun.
Right, like Dabo table. Although you can like, I don't know, like they have real currency in societies there, and yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we're here to talk about Star Trek today. The very last episode of Star Trek Discovery ever.
Woo-hoo.
Yep.
Well, let's not say that. It can always come back.
No, it won't. There's no like big campaign to like get it back. Not one that I've seen. And I'm pretty connected to the Star Trek Twitter and shit, so
yeah. Yeah, I guess I really haven't seen anyone being like 4 more seasons.
No.
You know, technically, I guess a lot of people are bringing up the fact that technically this is the longest running Star Trek series.
Because it ran since yeah, a full 7 years, I guess, because it's been on since 2017, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. It might be, yeah.
But there's only like 65 episodes and
Sure.
5 seasons.
Right. So, the pandemic, I think, was responsible for a lot of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta suck to have that right in the middle of the production of your show.
I mean, yeah, and I feel like Lower Decks has also produced 5 seasons in a very short amount of time, but then again, like animation's easy to have a lot of
Sure, depending on
easier to produce rather than like something like Discovery that has like very intricate sets and like special effects,
and also like demands for actors to be in the same place at the same time, which I guess is a big reason like why like no one was on this season.
Detmer and Iwasaki just like
took the fuck off until the end here. So we're talking about Star Trek Discovery Season 5 Episode 10, Life Itself. This is the 65th episode of Discovery in All and the 918th episode of Star Trek in All. This one was written by Kyle Jarrow, who is the writer of 4 episodes of Discovery, including Species 10C and Jinal, and he is also an executive producer of Disco and the writer of the SpongeBob musical. This was also co-written by Michelle Paradise, the showrunner of Star Trek Discovery, for the last 2.5 seasons or something. This one is directed by Olatunde Osunsami, who has directed 14 episodes of Discovery and is probably the most prolific Discovery director. And also co-directed some parts by none other than our boy Jonathan Frakes, Will fucking Riker.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, so you ready to get into this bad mother?
I am, actually.
When we open, Burnham travels through space and time into the progenitor technology. She tries to contact Discovery, but they can't hear her because, of course, she's gone through a portal. Inside the portal, there's a bright light Burnham figures is the technology. Inconclusive life sign readings. She comes upon the technology, and gravity pulls her into a stormy shore. There's a dead Breen there. She fights another Breen and beats him with a windstorm. Maul finds Burnham and they have a standoff. Maul is injured. They decide to combine forces and find the technology together. Opening credits, 11 minutes 30 seconds. They had a long, like, action-packed time with this intro, and I was like, really, for the last episode? But I guess they probably just tacked on the ending, is how I feel to most of this.
And how long can you, and how many ways can you say, like, karate kicks that person, karate kick that person,
Sure.
It's like, okay. But yeah, we also get, like, her doing the Super Mario jump.
Sure.
Like, the Super Mario jump.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Super Mario jump was like advertised a lot in like a lot of the trailers for this season, like her doing the Super Mario jumps. We finally got to see the Super Mario jump.
Oh boy, we love the Super Mario jump, people, don't we? Great.
Yeah, it is interesting, I guess, like where they are, like inside the progenitors, like sort of like mind palace, whatever the Doctor Who thing is, just like this massive space where they have instant access to any sort of world they want, or there's multiple worlds all over the place they can just jump right into, just Superman jump right into.
Superman jump, baby. So on Discovery,
or Super Mario jump. I'm sorry.
So that's a me. Yeah. On Discovery, Rayner and the crew are still looking for Burnham and trying to tractor beam the portal. The Breen Dreadnought isn't far behind, with 60 minutes left until they arrive. So, with Saru, Admiral Vance tells him that his diplomatic plan with the Breen is foolhardy. Commander Nan volunteers to go with Saru. Saru says there's no other options, so Vance gives him the go-ahead, even though it's foolhardy. If someone called my shit foolhardy.
Tom Hardy.
Oh, no, that's a bad thing. I would love if Shinzon just came back randomly here.
Yeah.
Like, I'm 800 years old. My lips still work, though. These lips go into overtime, if you know what I mean. Have you ever seen football? American football? It's like that. Going into overtime. Everyone's excited. With Burnham and Maul, they seem to be in a never-ending tunnel. They argue a bit about the technology and have a big fight with each other. This can be summed up as Hiya, kick, punch, kick, kick, Hiya. On Discovery, Breen fighters have arrived and are pursuing them. Raynor makes the call to turn around and take out the fighters before trying to retrieve Burnham. Book offers to be a decoy, and Raynor gives him the go-ahead. Culber offers to join him and tells Stamets he knows he needs to do this, and it may provide him some answers. Stamets kisses Culber and lets him go. Stamets is just like getting abandoned by everyone the last couple episodes. Like his they them progeny.
Yes.
Well,
Stamets didn't get a lot to do this season, and it's kind of funny because like his arc kind of for the season was feeling like he didn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, no, his arc was like caring too much about his legacy, which is super weird. Like, not a great arc, honestly. Because
with the pathway technology, like his mushroom drive is basically, it can't be replicated, and it's also like kind of just like obsolete because it's not like feasible to outfit like every single ship with it, so it's going to be something that's just like a relic of just like this one ship, and then really like be useless after he dies, honestly, because can they not replicate
unless they get another mushroom man? He needs to pass down the mushroomness.
Like they can't do other mushroom people, so it seems like, but I guess like then again, I mean, we'll get to it at the end, I guess. Put a pin in that. But yeah, it's just like, but it's just funny, like, his whole thing is just like, I feel like I'm not useful, or all my progress is forgotten, and then he's just kind of like just in the background the entire time. So it's just like, I guess he's right.
He didn't leave a legacy that like everyone remembers 800 years later. That's okay, dude. No one does.
Because like in the 800 years ago, like when he first invented the spore drive, it had to be a huge cover up because it took them it was like, so he was kind of seen as a failure amongst his own time period, and now it's just like, well, I'm a failure again because like there's better technology to replace this thing that I invented. Right. Even though like the spore drive is a pretty fascinating technology, like
it is really pretty cool. Like I like that idea and how they explored it in the first season, and then they were just like, it brings people back to life, and it's just a thing now.
That's the one thing. Because I like when they first explained it, like I was like, well, that's stupid. And then like more way they explain it, I'm like, okay, now I can see that making sense, especially from what we know about mushrooms. I think I watched like that Fantastic Fungi movie that actually has the real Paul Stamets in it. And I was just like, okay, you know what, mushrooms are pretty cool. I can see them actually pulling this sort of like thing off, and like I grew to actually really like it. And then it's just like, and I think the last season they're pretty much just like, it's obsolete, we don't need it.
So apparently the real Paul Stamets has like a mushroom supplements company right now, and like
he does.
Apparently like a lot of people say they're like bullshit supplements, and their employees are trying to unionize right now, citing poor working conditions and underpayment.
Oh no, it is real Paul Stamets trying to keep them from doing so?
I think so. I think real Paul Stamets is a real capitalist, unfortunately. How the mighty have fallen. So, Burnham and Maul are still fighting. Neither has any injuries, as per usual in this program. People get punched in the face, and they're like, eh. Burnham says she knows what it's like to lose someone who means everything, and promises to try to help to get Locke back, and asks for Maul's trust. Burnham has Maul throw away her weapons and asks about the pattern buffer, and deduces that Locke's pattern is in there, and they head off together. On Discovery,
I do think it's funny, like, you know, like with a lot of like villains, you know, typically like initially their goals are something like need to bring my lover back to life or something like that. You know, it starts, but then like they get twisted in a way, so then like their ultimate goal becomes more sinister in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And it never seems to really happen with
like in Year of Hell.
Yeah.
Great example.
Yeah, and you think like, okay, yeah, it's just like, you know, oh, if I can't have Locke, then I'm going to use this technology to destroy the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's kind of.
But yeah, we never get, especially since there's like there is a lot of like callbacks to like Indiana Jones,
mm-hmm.
you know, specifically like, you know, the Ark of the Covenant, you know, you know, or Raiders of the Lost Ark, and also of course The Last Crusade,
mm-hmm.
you know, where there's this like thing, especially The Last Crusade, where it's like there's this thing that can easily like, you know, be used to bring people back to life or do something, but you know, obviously it has, in the wrong hands, it can be twisted into evil, you know, be used to like control people, especially by like, you know, with religion or something. But yeah, it never really does anything, goes in that path.
No, never really explores that. So, on Discovery, Booker takes off and they switch to offense. Tilly has an idea to ignite a plasma field to take out all of the Breen fighters.
Also, that's like, that tactic has been used so much. Like, you know, obviously it's used in a lot of other Treks, you know, mm-hmm. very early Treks.
Sure.
To the point where I feel if you're ever in a firefight and then like the ship you're pursuing goes into a plasma field,
mm-hmm.
do not follow them.
Right. Yeah, like, you know what they say: you never put all your Breen fighters in a plasma field. It's just,
you don't put all your Breen fighters in a plasma field. I feel like that's like, okay, clearly like, you know, Discovery's a much faster ship
mm-hmm. than
like these other little fighters. So obviously it's going to get to the other side of this plasma field before the other ones, and mm-hmm. it's going to ignite it. It's just like how do they, you know, at this point, how is this tactic still working when it's, you know, 800 years later, when in every single Trek series, each ship has done the same exact tactic?
I have an explanation. The Breen are dumb as motherfucking hell. They fucking dumb. They fucking dog shit dumb. They fucking
dumb, big ass dummy motherfucking dummies. Idiot ass bitch dummy motherfucker.
Bitch.
I feel like yeah, if I was one of those Breen fighters and then like Discovery went into the plasma field, I'd be like, I'm going around it.
Yeah, you'd think.
I'm gonna do something. Yeah, I'm gonna do something different. But I can see where this is going.
But are you a
bitch ass idiot dumbass motherfucking idiot ignorant ass bitch?
I am actually.
Oh well, I'm surprised then, because that's something that one of them would do.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and even I know not to go into a plasma field.
That's true, you do. So with Burnham and Maul, they find an optical illusion on a precipice, and the technology reveals itself as a vast field. Burnham walks into it. With Saru, shuttle catches up with Primarch to Hall's ship, which is a fast-ass shuttle, man. That's a fast shuttle. Yeah. How to get there so fast, man?
I think because it has the pathway stuff. So
I guess so. So Saru hails them, and Tahal responds, looking like a video game NPC. It's like really bad CGI. And if it's not CGI, it's like, it looks like bad CGI. It's very weird. Saru tells Tahal that her presence at the Discovery battle would inflame relations between them and the Federation, and offers her a trade route to bolster her claim to the throne. She refuses and hangs up, but Saru says he got all the information he needed. Sly Saru.
Action Saru.
No. Shut
up, man.
In the progenitor technology, Burnham deduces that the technology is the entire place that they're in. Burnham and Maul head towards the center disk. An interface materializes with 9 triangles on it, 9 glass triangles. Burnham tells Maul about the phrase, build the shape of one between the many. Maul deduces that you need 9 shapes to build a larger triangle. So 9 triangles build a larger triangle. Equilateral triangles, that is. Burnham doesn't think that that's the way to solve the puzzle. Suddenly, Burnham vaguely hears Book on comms and says Book a bunch. She's like, Book! 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 And that's like about half of it. Maul hits her on the back of the head and knocks her out. First off, I don't understand how, like, I don't know, they can get comms through a portal like that, but that's fine. Whatever.
I think he was, because he was on the outside of it, you know, but then again, like, it wasn't when Maul and the Breen had it, like, I'm sure they were trying to send communication through it as well, but
they were right outside of it. Yeah, I guess not. Yeah. Even though they were right there compared to, like, maybe several thousand kilometers away in a ship.
Yeah.
Right? So, suddenly, Burnham vaguely hears Book on comms, and Book says, she says Book a bunch. Maul hits her on the back of the head, knocks her out. How often this has happened to Burnham?
Cartoon style.
Yeah, she has got to have crazy CTE, which would explain maybe like the way she acts sometimes.
Well, CTE doesn't exist in the future. They can just like wave a tricorder over your head and cure it.
True that. So Maul materializes Locke's body and promises him she'll bring him back before doing the puzzle and creating the larger triangle. The machine lights up and shocks her. She got it wrong. No.
Yeah, this is the choosing the Grail at the end of Indiana Jones bit. Yeah. Where it's just like, you know, she's chosen poorly, and I think it would have been sick as fuck if she had melted. But
that would have been real. If she like head exploded, fucking Scanner style. That would have been rad.
Yeah.
Or just like
the scene.
They should have just like used any of the practical effects from Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Like those Nazis blowing up are like some of the best practical effects ever.
In The Last Crusade, the Nazi who drinks from the wrong Grail when he rapidly decomposes. Yeah. That used to scare the absolute fucking shit out of me when I was a kid. But I would watch Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade on repeat. I would watch it like once a day. Wow. But I would still always have to close my eyes during that scene because it like gave me nightmares. That's how effective that scene is. And I think it should have been I think Maul should have rapidly aged and then like gone into dust, but that's just me.
Yeah, that would have been cool. So on Discovery, Book calls and says he's almost made it to the portal, but something is happening to it. It's getting powered by the black hole, nearing the entire region into gravitational chaos. Discovery lights up the plasma field and destroys all the Breen fighters, just like they thought they would. Well done. Cool, you did it. You did the thing that they've done a million times before. Well, great fucking solution.
It's like, come on, Breen, you should have seen that coming.
Yeah, like, how is this your first fucking rodeo?
It's the oldest trick in the book.
The Cleveland book, that is. They should have called this the Cleveland Show, shouldn't they? So Rayner calls Cleveland, Booker, and Culber and tells them they're on their way and to get a hold of the portal. They're in range, but the tractor beam doesn't work. Suddenly, Culber knows what he has to do and tells Book the exact frequency they need to use. And guess what? It fucking works. They can't leave, so they hold steady. With Saru, Tahal gives them 30 seconds to leave before she blows them out of the fucking sky. Saru hails her again and calls her cowardly. She hails back and tells her his people are predators, and he's studied her like prey in a bluff that's obvious to anyone who knows the Kelpians are a prey animal. He tells her that the trade route was a ruse to figure out the Breen have bases there, and he has the ear of many planets in the region. She calls his bluff, and so he bluffs harder. She buys it and turns her ship around. Honestly, great performance in the scene from Doug Jones. Shame he was out for like half the fucking season.
Yeah, he just pulled it together for this one last scene.
Mm-hmm. They drop out of warp and go into cloak. So Burnham wakes up with CTE and sees Maul getting shocked. She pulls Maul off the console. Burnham does the puzzle for herself and makes a triangle of negative space, which doesn't really make sense for the one between the many. Like, you could have made a triangle.
It makes one giant triangle between like all these smaller ones.
Right, but so does the way Maul did it.
Well, I mean,
if it was one between many, there should have been like one triangle in the center of many. Yeah, think about it.
I was kind of think that it was going to be like something where they would have had to work together to put aside their differences.
No, this is just like a bad children's puzzle. Like it's not good. Like, this isn't an like interesting puzzle.
And Myst. That game Myst.
Right. But like Myst is like intentionally like dense and like difficult. And this, I don't know, this feels like, I don't know, just bad writing, or like the writer couldn't explain to the prop department, and so they're like, how about negative space triangle? Like, that doesn't make sense in context of the one between the many. If Maul's doesn't work, why does this one? That's what I need to be explained to me.
Yeah.
Because there's not one between many. There should be a triangle in between these other triangles. Like, there should have been like a 10th piece or something that she got to put in the middle, or some shit like that. But like, it doesn't make sense, because one between many would work in Maul's context if Burnham's works. The fact that it's negative space doesn't really make sense in context of one between many.
Well, because the negative space triangle is between like all the smaller ones.
Yeah.
I think it should have been like they would have had to reference the puppet show Between the Lions, and that they would have had to know about that, and with the about the lions that live in a library, and read books.
Yeah, but
that would have made sense.
Right. I don't know. Maul's should have made sense, because there were, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Think it should have worked. Oh well. So,
but it was the wrong kind of triangle.
It was the wrong kind of triangle for the puzzle, a children's puzzle. Like, I don't know. It's, why couldn't it have been like another test that like the progenitor there put on? I don't really understand how it had to be, because what if it was like a species that like didn't really like use like geometrics or language like that, you know?
Yeah.
It's
definitely felt like, that game, that sort of like puzzle that they gave you when you're a kid, where it's just like you're given a bunch of matchsticks that form like triangles, and they tell you have to like make another triangle or something by moving every single piece or something.
Sure,
it's kind of felt like one of those type of
yeah,
puzzles.
exactly. It felt like a weird game store game, like, answer me this these riddles 3 sides, that is. It's a triangle, make one between many out of 9. Like, okay, whatever, man.
I did figure like if this is like the final thing at the end of like this huge especially given like that it's like this massive godlike power that you're going for, that's when I was looking at the board, I was kind of thinking like, well, I wonder if there's some sort of like sacred geometry, because like where the pieces were on the thing, there's some sort of geometry that you could find between those sort of spaces and like between the triangles on the board, and have to figure something out. But yeah, it seemed like a puzzle that you're given in like grade school to just form the triangle.
Yep. So suddenly Burnham transports to another place in time, and it's kind of the same place, but this time it's at nighttime, and there's a progenitor there. She says it's her duty to share instructions with Burnham for the technology. Burnham says she needs to stop whatever is endangering her friends, which she learned from Book when he called her, I guess. So I guess that's why they needed the message to get through. The progenitor says that time stands still where they are. The progenitor says the technology was found and that they didn't build it themselves. And the progenitors theorize that whoever built it created them. The progenitor shows the technology to Burnham. On the shuttle, Book tells Culber he'll beam him out. He asks Culber how he knew the correct frequency, and he says it was a memory of Janal's from the Jakarta earlier in the season, whose memories he doesn't actually have access to. Culber says there really isn't an answer, and it's all mystical. We have...
I thought that made sense.
Oh.
It felt, given that it was like, a trill, and he, and that is a typical trill thing where, the trills can share memories, or can recall different experiences and everything else, and so I was like, oh no, that makes sense. When he was saying like he didn't understand it, but I was like, I don't know, I feel that kind of the tracks given what we know about the trill.
Like I was on board with it, but he says specifically like he doesn't have access to Janal's memories, and I'm like, but I mean, that was like your explanation for it though. So why say you don't have access to that? Just be like, oh, it was his memory. And then, but they naysay it like in the same scene, and I'm like, okay, I don't know why. I don't know why you need to do that.
Naysay it in the same scene, but yeah, I mean, it could be easily like surmised that Janal left that command still in Culber's mind or something.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, I was kind of like, I think I kind of get what's going on.
Yeah, this was I'd say one of the better endings of a season arc here, and Culber gives Book a fist bump. Yeah, I didn't love the Abuela stuff and like his searching for meaning and stuff, but I did like that, like, there was the Jack Taro thing actually like kind of paid off later. So. So on Discovery, Saru hails Raynor and tells him there's a scout heading towards Discovery. Raynor decides to jump something that's not Discovery, and Tilly and Stamets don't quite know what to do until they figure it out with Adira. Raynor decides to jump them to the galactic barrier, so it takes them decades to get back. Raynor addresses...
like a fate worse than death.
Yeah, right? Raynor addresses the crew and tells them they're a good crew and he appreciates the trust. He's gonna fucking Voyager them,
Yeah. Yeah.
So with Burnham, the progenitor tells her that the only person to get there before her was Dr. Durex. And she introduced the Durex condom to them. And for that, they are grateful. For now, they can fuck all they want without getting preggers. Burnham says no single being should have this kind of power. She says she's afraid and lost sometimes. And the progenitor says that they feel those things too. Out with Discovery, they get the saucer in lower section between the Dreadnought as the progenitor waxes poetical on Burnham. They warp the Dreadnought successfully to the galactic barrier. The progenitor tells Burnham... Yeah?
I did think that was cool. It's just like, if anything, that's like a great evidence of like what Stamets technology is capable of.
Right.
Like, I feel that's like the fact that and that's another reason why it should be still around. It's like, okay, you just demonstrated that it can like warp something so much larger than itself, and something that's not itself,
and something that's shielded like, too, which is like yeah, if you
that is a massive, that is like a brand new application of this technology that wasn't previously conceived of, and it worked. So it's like, okay, how is this not applicable to anything else else like, you need in the Federation?
At that point it becomes one of the most powerful weapons in the galaxy, because like, you know, someone's fucking getting you put a small ship with a mushroom spore drive on it, and you fucking beam them into the middle of a black hole. Fucking done. They're done. They're fucking gone.
Done.
You know?
Yeah, if the Borg were still around, just like be like, oh, Borg cube, well, not anymore.
Yep.
The Borg cube just like starts spinning, then goes into a black hole.
Yeah. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Yeah, I was just like, that's why I was just like, wow, why isn't anyone talking about this after and like why does Stamets feel like a failure? It's just like Rayner just helped you invent a new use for your technology. Like you should be on your hands and knees, like just being like, yes.
Yeah, it's weird that he's not like privately still researching it, really.
Yeah, and also that means, if anyone, it means also like if they ever needed like to get the fleet somewhere immediately to help someone, you could transport an entire fleet. You could instantly transport supplies.
Right.
You could instantly transport anything. You could possibly, if there was like, who knows how far it could go. Like you could, if there was like a planet in danger, you could move the planet.
Yeah, totally. Like, right.
Or if there was like a meteor coming at a planet, like a world, and that's a great way, especially to obey like the prime directive. Let's say like a world-ending meteor was going at like a planet, you wanted to
launch into a black fucking hole, baby.
Yeah, just take away the meteor and make it send into the sun instead of like having it wipe out this entire civilization.
Sure. Yeah. This is could have a lot more applications, but maybe they planned on that for the next season, but they got canceled.
Yeah. Or I wonder if maybe Stamets was going to invent like larger scale like application for this in the next season, but never got to.
He just makes a ship made entirely out of mushrooms.
he died like most scientists and inventors do, just in obscurity, completely broke. Just like drank himself to death in a pile of mushrooms.
Hell yeah, that's the way I want to go. So the progenitor tells Burnham the progenitor story and says it's Burnham's turn to consider what's most meaningful to her. The progenitor says she can stop the technology and she can come back and learn to use it anytime. She puts her hands on Burnham and gives something of a mind meld into the past and future, creation and destruction. Suddenly, she's back in the chamber, and she tries to save Maul. Burnham says Locke can't be brought back, and Maul goes with her. So, with Book and Culber, they beam Burnham and Maul back, and Culber attends to Maul, and they make their way back to Discovery. And here comes...
It's interesting that she does say this. It's just like, that'd be funny if Maul's just like, learns like about Culber and Book.
Yeah, she's like, wait, why can't you bring... Wait, you have two ways of bringing people back. Can we... let me talk to Species 10C. What the fuck? Wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, like literally, like Stamets inadvertently found the cure to life and death.
Mm-hmm.
Like he was able to bring back his inadvertently brought back his own husband.
Yeah.
Through the mushrooms. So it's like, yeah, I mean, why isn't? I mean, I guess given like the Federation's like belief system, just like well, death is supposed to be final, but. Sure. Rarely is it ever, especially with like bridge crew.
Absolutely.
Yeah, just interesting that is like another application of his technology that they're just kind of like,
So on Discovery, Saru meets Burnham, who has a feeling Action Saru came out today, and this.
That's the name of Saru's dick.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you comes out every day. I saw my fucking wife. You know what I do? I fucking fuck my wife. You know I fucking fuck my wife. I fuck my wife good. I love fucking my wife.
Let's just say Action Saru is gonna come out tonight because like talking down to a Breach Primarch has got Action Saru into like karate chop Action Saru or something.
Action mode.
It's got an action mode.
Stamets comes in and says this is the greatest scientific discovery of their lifetimes. Burnham says she saw the past 4 billion years and she thinks they need to let the technology go. Stamets protests, but everyone else agrees with her. And I'm like, what? No. Why are you letting her
I think that is the right choice because it's just like
I think maybe hiding it or something, but like letting it go, because what they do here, so they launch it into the event horizon of a black hole, which is pretty final, I think, and she's like, if the fucking, if whoever made it is still around, they can come back and give us the technology if they really want to. And I'm like, what, wait, you're destroying this technology that someone may possibly need if there's like something world ending or universe ending, and maybe you can be the progenitors for like the next universe. Maybe that's what the progenitors were, is like basically humans, and there was like a universe ending event and they created the new life in the universe. That's
very, very Halo coded.
Right. But they launched this thing into the event horizon of the black hole, which makes me wonder what the fuck happened to the progenitor in that thing. Like they got stretched across
just the portal
time
leading to that space.
Are we sure? It was like a physical man. Well, I don't know. Like, I don't feel good about them launching it into a black hole.
I think that was the right decision. I think that was like, I kind of feel like, I think I mentioned, I think that should have been their intention from the get-go, because I do feel like they should have realized from the start, a technology like that is completely irresponsible in the hands of anyone.
Yeah.
And especially because it's like, if we weren't ready for it 800 years ago, we're definitely not ready for it now, and so it should have definitely been destroyed. It's like it's just basically,
I don't know about destroyed. I think maybe re-hidden. They're like, there's, I don't know.
Mm-hmm. It's like the same thing in Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade, where like Indy realizes like the Grail is too powerful of an object, not only like its special abilities, but also it's just like its meaning, its the fact of what it represents, and the amount of control it can like influence on people. It's just like Indiana Jones realizes it's something we should not have. And Indy destroys the Grail. He casts it into like a pit and he destroys it. Yeah. And so like I do think that was the responsible thing, especially because you know, that was like during World War or pre-World War II, and we weren't ready for it then. I wouldn't trust anybody with the Grail now.
I mean, it's weird because she like, but the thing is, like, Burnham tries to make the case the entire season that yes, the Federation are the ones that should get this technology and be responsible for it.
Yeah, I definitely thought that was like not a good stance, even for, you know, especially for anyone, you know, or for the Federation itself to be like, you know, Kovich being like, we need this. And it's just like, yeah, it's like, no, I feel like we have like at this point, we're sort of like self-aware of our own, you know, like the Federation's aware of itself, you know, in a sense where they're very humble and they know like, yeah, no one should have this. We shouldn't have this, especially, you know, it's like given also like the Federation's or Starfleet's penchant for evil admirals. You know, it's just like, you know, you can imagine evil admiral with this. So yeah, I think that's what my only thing is, like, I know like it had to be like dangled for like the 10 episodes, but I do feel like they should have from the get-go been like, we need to destroy this motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like it's weird that they have the conversation now. Like at the very end, after like the entire season, Burnham trying to convince all of the tests and everything that like, no, they're the responsible ones and they deserve this. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah. I know it's kind of and it's believable in like Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade because like, you know, that's 1930s human beings who have like haven't like had this sort of like, you know, the evolution that humans at this point have had, you know, where it's just like this sense of just like right and wrong. And so yeah, I mean, and the only reason Indy gives it up because he has like this moral awakening, you know, just this.
Man, you were really on the Indiana Jones right now. Did you just watch The Last Crusade? Jesus, man.
No, it's just I really like that movie, and I just felt like watching this. That's what I got.
It's weird because like I feel like most of the references you're making to it can also be made to the fucking Crusaders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Sorry, yeah, like yeah, because I mean,
same, yeah,
it's kind of the same thing, exactly. Like, you know,
but I was just thinking, like, yeah, I mean, but I was thinking mostly about like, but also the Grail is something that can give life, and I think like the Ark of the Covenant's just filled with evil creature and souls and stuff.
Yeah, but they think it has like, I mean, yeah, it is an object with like this universe creating or ending power, you know. It is like this untold power basically, and like both Indy's like, no, I want it to, like, you know, preserve it, and you know the Nazis are like, oh, we want it to fucking, and so they end up just storing it in a warehouse somewhere in the end.
But Indy destroys like the Grail, and like he realizes like it is like this massive force for good, but it's also like something that humanity's not ready for, and he has to like destroy it.
But that's the thing, if it's not ready for it, then hide it until humanity can be ready for it. Like, don't destroy it.
You can't totally safeguard something, you know. They couldn't totally safeguard the progenitor technology, so they had to get rid of it. And so I can understand it, but
why are they so much more enlightened than like Dr. Durex, the person who hid this in the first place, and those scientists 800 years ago? You know, you figure they would have been like, maybe people can't handle this, and instead of, you know, elaborately hiding it, just like, because someone could have come upon it regardless, even though it was quote unquote unscannable or whatever.
Yeah.
You know?
But still, I think they did a right job, because also it's just like the progenitor technology, you know, they gave this saying where it's just like, you know, the people before the progenitors are the ones who made the planets. The progenitors are the ones who populated them. And so by the time it comes to now, I mean, that's the thing, maybe like we can't conceive of what we would possibly do with this technology because we're just not there yet. And it'll have to get to the point, because like as like Michael says, it was like the world already has infinite diversity, infinite combinations. So it's just like we don't need it to create life anymore. We have like the entire universe is populated.
Right.
Like we can, and so.
But maybe this creates
right now
a different
no
concept of
it,
life.
Yeah, and they can't conceive of what else they could possibly do with it, because they're just not at that stage of development yet. So. So yeah, I think pretty much what she says is like, okay, well, let it go into this black hole, and once we get to that point, we'll probably rediscover it.
At the same time, I feel like this is like disregarding the fact that like there are beings in this universe with this power, like Q.
Yeah.
That can create
Q,
and destroy life.
Everything.
At will.
Q's just basically disappeared.
Yeah. Q. Yeah.
You think like Q would have like come in and been like, not so fast, Burnham.
Yeah, that would have been actually been pretty cool. Is like, you're not throwing that into the black hole. I will hide it until humanity's ready, or something. That would have been pretty sick.
Humanity's not ready for this. So the Qs have to like step in, and that would have been funny. Like, not so fast, Burnham, but. Yeah, but I guess we've reached what we can do with the Qs.
Yeah, probably. So, Discovery warps back to Starfleet headquarters. Book talks to Maul, who says she's going to be thrown in a brig with a window. It's pretty cool how they still have such punitive prison systems in the future. Neat, awesome, cool. Especially when Book and Burnham have all but been forgiven for like all of their many crimes. They killed many people.
Well, and also it seems like she's just going to get a slap on the wrist anyway.
Yeah, maybe. So Non tells Book that Kovich has plans for Maul. So that's probably the deal, is either she spends her life in a brig or she works as a fucking spook for the CIA.
Yep.
Yeah,
which I'm gonna get given how the CIA recruits. Yeah, she's
yep.
Yeah, just gonna.
She's qualified for
doing red directive shit. Just.
I like how they just replaced Section 31 with red directive this season. That was pretty cool, huh?
Yeah. You're just like, well, you know what?
We need another word for covert ops that's not associated with the CIA so heavily.
That is one thing I noticed. It's like they like. All people are like they can conceive of is just like this, like what's cool. Like they think like the Starfleet and the Federation's kind of lame. Mm-hmm. What's actually cooler are people who work outside of that.
Right.
Like, given like, they focus entirely on like Section 31 and red directive stuff.
No, and that's the thing. It's like literally everything in every season basically has been classified at this point.
Yeah.
Except for I guess like season 3 and 4 maybe, but like this entire season has been entirely classified. They were wiped from history from season 1 and 2, like, and so like they barely exist in like the public record. Like suddenly like this ship shows up out of nowhere, and then it does some stuff with this Orion smuggler, and then fucking the species 10C, and then it like disappears for a year. And its entire crew, and they're just like off doing something? ?
Yeah, at this point, like, how would they even have any sort of like, notoriety of any kind? Like everything they do is classified.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, those losers who go around in an old ass ship and don't do nothing.
So Burnham beams to talk with Kovich, who tells her that the red directive has been closed and everything is classified. She tries to give back her infinity symbol, but he says she should keep it because she's both impressive and aggravating. She asks if Kovich is a codename, and he reveals himself to be Agent Daniels, the shadowy figure from Star Trek Enterprise.
Yeah, like the time twink.
Yeah,
I like to call him.
Sure. Then the guy who like gave who always talked to Archer, gave him orders.
Yeah. He was like the the time, and he somehow cured his own baldness. Like that's
pretty good. It was probably hims.com.
His hair was
hims.com.
Yeah, his hair was thinning in the past, but I did like the part where Burnham is like scanning the objects behind Kovich / Daniels, and it is like a bottle of Chateau Picard. Yeah. Apparently, there's also the gun from Existence. The David Cronenberg film, like the gun that's made
Existence. Out of teeth. Oh, that's awesome! Hell yeah, that fucking rules.
Yeah,
that rules. Yeah,
or Existence. Yeah, like the teeth gun is back there.
Sick.
And also Geordi's visor.
Oh, interesting.
But it's just funny, like. But yeah, I just thought it was funny, like, and also of course Sisko's baseball was there.
Oh man, he's a hunter. These are guys he hunted down and killed. And those are his trophies.
But I just thought it was funny, like Burnham's like looking at that, but I don't think she would have any recognition of what any of those objects mean.
No, definitely not.
I mean, she knows who Picard is, but like, how would she recognize Geordi's visor or Sisko's baseball?
Does she know who Picard is? Like, I guess. The progenitor thing, maybe.
The whole progenitor thing. She's aware of who Picard is. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like, given it is funny that just like given just like how it has been like 800 years, like. They might be footnotes in history.
It'd be great if she just like scanned over everything and she's like, "Oh shit, is that the gun from Existence?" Like,
is that the gun that shoots teeth?
Shit, man.
Is that literally the gun that shoots teeth? But yeah, like the gristle gun. The gun that they make out of like chicken bones, I think, like that shoots teeth. But yeah, that gun's back there, which is nice that David Cronenberg got to add something. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, you know what? You want to put a weird thing back there? How about this gun that's made out of chicken bones and human teeth?
We love the Berg. Yeah, that'd be cool if he got to like put in like one of the machines from Crimes of the Future.
One of the feeding chairs. So I'm surprised they didn't put the game system in there, because the game system they use in Existence, like that game system was pretty fucking weird, and that seems like very future coded. But
I'm sure he doesn't have all the props from all of his films. Just the cool
but
ones.
I think it was funny, like I think that is a bold choice to just like, Enterprise that has always been like derided for having like the worst ending in all of Star Trek, and then include like a character, make the reveal that David Cronenberg is a character from Star Trek Enterprise.
I don't know. I kind of love it. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, but it also makes sense, because I was kind of thinking about that, because it's like, because the time period that they are in now, I mean, this is after the temporal wars and everything, and so this is literally the time period that character is from in Enterprise. Obviously, like years later, because now he's an old man. Right. So yeah, I was kind of thinking like, I wonder if they will include that guy. I kind of thought that was and like, it turned out, oh no, he was there all along.
Pretty cool. So several weeks later, we're at Saru's wedding. Burnham tells them she's happy for both Saru and Tarina, and Saru waxes on the progenitors and how they're all connected. Everybody here is in a Starfleet dress uniform, and it's clear that Saru only has work friends, no friends outside of work. Tilly pitches a mentorship program at Starfleet Academy. Book comes over to Burnham, and he wants to talk. Alone. You know what that means. On a beach, Burnham admits that she never stopped loving Book. He admits that he loves her too, and they kiss. He asks if they can do this, just the two of them. Well, the two of them and Grudge, because she's a cat. Suddenly, Kovich hails Burnham, and she asks if Book wants to go on a mission. They go off together and beam to Kovich, just leaving the wedding.
I think that's a very Michael Burnham thing, where they just like leave Saru's wedding.
Right. Like, poor fucking Saru. She was like, I put in FaceTime. We had a conversation about the progenitors or some shit. Let's fucking go do a red directive, baby.
I know Saru's like one of my oldest friends, and this is his wedding. But, let's just fuck off and do this other fun
And she
thing.
literally says, "Oh, Saru would understand." I'm like, would he?
Would he?
Would he?
Yeah, they're just like straight up leave his wedding without saying anything.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, okay. I mean, that kind of tracks to, just like this, just doing whatever she wants with no any sort of like consideration of her crew or of anybody else. Just like, yep, you know what? I'm just going to go and do this other fun thing that I want to do and not be at my friend's wedding.
Yep. Pretty cool, dude.
Pretty cool.
So we skip forward to the future. In a very fucking nice house somewhere, an elderly Burnham wakes up. An elderly Book brings her.
One of the planets that we saw in the progenitor place, the place with like the purple flowers, where they had a karate fight, or the purple plants.
Okay, I didn't realize it was
I'm pretty sure that's the same. I'm pretty sure that's the same place. Yeah, like one of the planets they beamed in temporarily to have a karate fight. Her and Maul did. Pretty sure it's the same planet. Looked, they had all the purple stuff everywhere.
Interesting. So, an elderly Book brings Burnham coffee and some fresh honey. Book offers to come with Burnham to her big day, but she wants to go alone. As her shuttle arrives, a weird deer creeps up on Burnham, and she talks to it as the shuttle comes and lands. I'm not sure why she didn't just beam to the shuttle, but okay. Her son is the one to come get her on the shuttle. He's been promoted to captain, and also Burnham is an admiral now. They beam to the shuttle, and it flies off into space. On the shuttle, Burnham Jr. tells...
his name. I thought it was interesting. Like his name was Leto.
Yeah, like
is that a Dune reference?
It could be, or it could be a Jared Leto reference.
Oh yeah, Jared Leto.
Yeah, definitely. Or the Leto Shuffle. A Leto. Whoa. So on the shuttle, Burnham Jr. tells Burnham that Tilly's been a tenured professor at Starfleet Academy for 30 years now. So this is like 30 years in the future, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I do like how, like, the aging, as we've seen in previous Trek series, like when the characters are aged ahead of their own ages, like we've seen in like with like Kirk or like Bashir, like they give them very unflattering old man makeup,
right?
And
everyone looks
now
good
we
here,
can
though.
see,
yeah.
Huh?
Everyone
they did.
Here.
I think they did
yeah.
a good job, like, because like as we've seen, with like with Bashir, he's obviously, and Kirk, they've aged very gracefully, like, and not like decrepit old freaks. And I think they did handle the subtle aging that, of course, like Hollywood actors do actually have, where it's just like it looks believable. Burnham, like I could see like Michael Burnham. Actress actually looking like that in 30 years.
Yeah. This kind of blows me away, though, because that means that Burnham Jr. here is a captain at like 30 years old, which is like pretty young to be a captain, which makes me like Nepo baby much. Like, come on.
Well, I mean, Kirk was pretty young when he became captain as well.
Nepo baby much? Come on. That's what I'm saying. He wasn't
also
but
I also kind of feel like, that I feel like, in the future, their especially like in the year 3000, I'm sure their education is is hyper accelerated, and their development's hyper accelerated. So
their sexual development is hyper accelerated. Neelix enters the chat.
Neelix has entered the chat. Like I just feel like, I think that makes sense.
Burnham waxes on the importance of spending time with family and found family, and waxes on the importance of crew and how he'll get his crew in line and he'll make them follow orders.
With an iron fist.
Yeah, she's like, you gotta whip them. You gotta have an actual bull whip, son. He's like, you sure, Mom? Do it. Whip them. They get to Starfleet headquarters and gaze out on Discovery, which is being repaired by a bunch of little robots.
Yeah, the dots.
Burnham reveals she's leading Discovery's final mission, and she's glad she gets to say goodbye. Burnham enters the bridge and talks to Zora, the computer. She says the final mission is a red directive where Zora has to wait in deep space for a craft of some sort. Which made me think, like, wait, isn't Zora, like, sentient? Like, wouldn't that be, like, really fucking boring for a sentient being to just wait in space?
I'm guessing Zora can have some sort of, like, torpor or something that they go into, or it's just, like, don't think and just wait to be found, you know, don't have to be completely active and go insane, like, you know, how or something.
I would like that to have been explained, because I feel bad for Zora here. I'm like, they're doing Zora fucking dirty on this shit. Like,
yeah, but it's kind of like, yeah, this is like, I guess, Burnham is like, you know, it's not leaving the progenitor tech behind, but something else, you know, of her own choosing. You know, it's just like this mushroom ship that one day, like, will actually be used to its full potential in the future by people who are willing to find it.
Yeah. So Discovery gets ready to depart, and Burnham takes the captain's chair one last time. And guess what? There's a whoopee cushion on it. Got him.
But wait, then someone comes like, sir, there's no whoopee cushion underneath. There was a whoopee cushion that made that fart sound. It's also making that smell.
It also shit my pants.
I swear that, like, this is the future. Our whoopee cushions are atomized. You know, they can't be seen by the naked eye. Like, that's what made that smell and that sound
and that shit running down my leg. This is the most advanced whoopee cushion ever. This is the progenitor technology.
Yes, the progenitors have made this awful whoopee cushion that's embarrassing me right now.
Yeah. So Saru comes in, and Burnham is transported back to the old bridge, and she's young again, talking to the young crew. I don't know if this was supposed to be a dream. I think so, kind of. I don't know. Burnham hugs everyone and says her goodbyes. And then she's back in the captain's chair alone. Burnham says,
which is funny, like Detmer and Owasakon's there. It's just like,
yeah, we never got to see him come back.
Yeah. Did they die in deep space on that ship? Like, who knows?
Yeah, right. So Burnham says, "Let's fly," and Discovery makes its way out of space dock. End of series. Fucking, it's over. It's over. We did it. It's the end of Discovery. I watched all of Star Trek Discovery. You did too. How do you feel about Star Trek Discovery?
Yeah, you know, it's not my big cup of tea. You know, it's a little too, it was a little too intense for me. You know, not like what I like in, you know, like other Star Trek series. But
I prefer my Star Trek understated and didactic, and like
but you know, it offered things to people. You know,
sure.
I can see it. I can see it being why it was popular. I mean, I definitely like. I think the first 2-ish seasons the most. Me personally.
Too. Yeah. Well, rank the seasons for me. Rank your seasons.
Rank the seasons. I actually think how it's natural order. I think that's the ranking for me.
Really, I go 1, 2, 5, 4, 3. I thought 3 was a real big stinker.
Yeah, now that I think about it, I think. Oh wait, no, that's I guess 3 would be at the bottom because that's the one with the Kelpian that made all the
burn. Yeah,
everything. Yeah, the burn. Yeah, I guess that was pretty bad. Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of that one. Yeah, I mean, I definitely like the first, you know, the initial season 1 suits. I like. I think that's one of my favorite designs for the suits and stuff, but like yeah, I thought it was that of course that had a very strong cast with Michelle Yeoh,
Jason Isaacs.
Like I thought that did very well in this time period. Also, and then of course, was it second season introduced young Spock and all that stuff. So
and it introduced us to none other than Captain Pike, who
and Captain Pike
we're fighting right now because he's kind of a Zionist.
Yeah, he needs to learn. He'll learn.
He does
by fist.
Yep, you live and you learn. And you free Palestine.
But yeah, I mean, and I do feel, I think this season was very, obviously been referencing it all episode, but like later, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, like I got a lot of those vibes from it.
I got National Treasure, but that's me.
Yeah, National Treasure, but like that's kind of how I was feeling with this. But I just didn't feel that have that emotional investment, like way I felt. Even like I kind of actually like the Enterprise finale a little bit more.
Like, really? Wow.
Even though it did kill off, I did love Trip. I thought Trip Tucker, I thought he was a very good character. I did think like Enterprise killed him off very unceremoniously, and of course then like and where they were kind of knew that this was going to be the finale, but so obviously they were not given time to have another season where they could have like got to this point of like actually developing the Federation. It had to be like all included in the finale episode, and so that was it felt unsatisfying. But I definitely really loved. I liked all the characters. I had a much deeper connection with like Archer, T'Pol,
Mayweather,
Tucker, Mayweather, and all of their friends.
For sure.
So,
yeah,
and of course, Shran. Gotta love Shran.
Oh yeah, Shran's the man. Love our Andorian boy.
I think that's probably where I think Discovery probably suffered, is there was no Jeffrey Combs.
That's a very good point.
All.
No Jeffrey Combs whatsoever. Which you got a Combs. You got a Combs.
Even Lower Decks had Jeffrey Combs.
You got a Combs original.
And Combs original. Combs original. Actually, Jeffrey Combs, I played several characters in Lower Decks, but like, I think that it's the Jeffrey Combs touch that really like is a mark of good quality Trek.
Absolutely. That's what we learned from Star Trek Discovery is you need more Combs, baby.
Need more Combs. Well, how did you feel about it?
This episode, and I'd give like a 4 out of 10. It was underwhelming. I didn't love how it ended. I don't know. It was kind of like predictable, and also like the ending felt very like tacked on, and I feel like they did Zora fucking dirty.
And I guess you can kind of understand, like, of course, like Discovery has never been like an ensemble Trek show in the typical sense. It always has been about this Michael Burnham's like arc. So I guess that's really what we saw. We got to see especially in flashbacks, we got to see like child Burnham to like adult 60-ish year old Burnham, 60, 70 year old Burnham. So
something like that.
You get to see that story arc over one person.
Yeah, which if you're into that, that's cool. I don't love that for my Trek. It's fine. It was fine. The whole thing altogether, I don't know, I give the series probably like 5 out of 10. It definitely faltered, and I think a big reason for that is like switching showrunners so often up until the 3rd season, and then not finding
because like stuff like like Burnham's like Vulcan upbringing is kind of like comes in and out. Like obviously she did use it like a little bit at the end, with doing like the progenitor puzzle. Like we saw her like do like the the Vulcan like concentrating type thing where she was focusing her mind to this puzzle, and so it kind of came full circle in a way. So
yeah, so I don't know. Altogether, not my favorite Trek. Our fucking bridge. There we go. Bridge is back.
there we go.
I don't really have anything more to say on it. You?
Not particularly. Like, I can see its appeal to, like, there's people who, it's a very divisive Trek where it's just like, there's, the most divisive Trek previously I felt was either like Voyager, Enterprise, that, and also even to a point Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine gets a lot of like detractors, just based on Cisco's breaking of like Starfleet ideals in some episodes, and also like Janeway also breaking the Prime Directive in some episodes.
Sure.
So like people saw that as like sort of like so that was equally derided in some things, in some circles, when they aired. But I can see like the appeal of Discovery, but yeah, it's not something I was particularly
not for us.
Not my favorite.
It's not for us.
Yeah,
not for us.
Yeah, it's not my favorite. I've definitely been enjoying Lower Decks, Strange New Worlds, and Prodigy. Actually, I was surprised I enjoyed Prodigy as much.
Oh, speaking of which, it was just announced it's coming back for July 1st on Netflix.
Hells yeah!
So we'll be reviewing that.
A new season.
Yeah, second season.
Hells yeah!
Hell yeah!
I'm down for it. I can't wait for it. Like I kind of just felt like Prodigy would be something I wasn't gonna like, because the previews it seemed very like Star Wars to me. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan.
Ish, but like it did it right. Like I thought it was a wonderful series. I'm totally on board with the second season. Yeah.
No, yeah, and I also felt like they sort of had like a lot of Trek callbacks, but but did it very well. Like there's returning characters, especially with like voice actors, previous characters who had been in like TNG and of course Voyager, but obviously like you've aged out of those parts and can't return physically, but they can definitely lend their voices and make appearances, and I felt like that was able to give that sense of scale, given that it's animation, so they're able to give like a large scale of what I think like Discovery wanted to do, just like with like its storytelling. But I mean, I definitely looking forward to those, and I'll see what else they got in the books. Obviously we weren't fans of Picard either, so
I guess we will see. But I think that's it for now. Thanks for hanging with us, Soyagers. Be well, travel safe, and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/dumbidiotbs, and also like, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yeah, thanks for checking with us, white boys, girls, and our woodley beans.
Hang dong, and shocker. We're never going to get this right. We're never going to get this right.
Never.
Soy, 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 soy.